G'day mates, still bored. What's new? So I decided to do a different political test, I suppose. This is a standard political compass, so this is a little bit more of a meme, I suppose. Or a little bit more of a less retarded version than the one on Pew. Alright, so, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than transnational corporations. Well, yes. I suppose. I always support my country, whether it's right or wrong. Not always. Mostly. No one uses their country of birth. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Well, no, that's absolutely stupid. Of course you can be proud of it. Our race is... What is our? Germanic? We are definitely... Germanics are definitely superiors to the fucking French, that's for sure. That's true, that's for sure. Are we better than the Slavs? Again. Maybe, sure, whatever. Compared to many other superior qualities, I'm gonna go with yes, I suppose. We're definitely better than the French. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No. Not necessarily. Like, maybe a toy. You know, you bet on two horses, you arm two horses to fight each other. And then take over whoever's the winner. I suppose that way, but no, they're not my friend. Doesn't necessarily mean that. The enemy of my enemy, mathematically speaking, is not the same thing as a friend. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Well, international law is nonsense, so yes, let's agree. I don't know strongly, I suppose. Yeah, let's do agree. I don't really feel strongly about it either, so, on any of those questions. Shame that there isn't any neutral position in this one, huh? No, they want you to force you to pick. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Infotainment. Yes. True. Still funny. I think Alex Jones is hilarious, by the way. So, now we have economics. There's quite a few questions, actually. Okay. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality. Well, yeah, I do agree with that. Because the working class in, let's say, Russia is not much different than the working class in America. So yes, I agree. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. Yes, because there's inflation, you create problems for everyone. So it's very important to keep inflation under control, because then you don't affect the wages of the people that are working, but you're also you're no longer affecting the people that are, for an example, retired. That's also important, right? Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. No, actually. If a company isn't protecting the environment, you boycott them. It is the market that does it. It isn't the government that does it. So this is the first one I'm going to actually be strongly opposed to. For each according to his needs. There's that communist gobbledygook again. The free of the market, the free of the people. Yep. It is a sad reflection of our society that basic commodities like drinking water are now bottled. No. That's stupid. Here's the thing. People buy brands. They want to buy brands. They don't want to buy the simple tin cans in the store. This is actually a thing that we already went through in the 1950s and the 1960s. We used to have tin cans, just like basic canned peaches. They were half the price of branded things. But people don't buy the non-brand items. So you put a home store brand on it and then you say, here you go. And people started buying them. A brand is something people recognize and have sort of financial loyalty to. So yes, brand loyalty is kind of important. And in this case, branding simply says you took a product, you modified it. For example, in the case of water, you purified it or you cleaned it. Then you bottle it, which is an easier container. So is it a sad reflection? No. It's actually good that we do it. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Strongly disagree. It's part of property. Property rights are important. That's the bedrock of a society. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money. No, that is a service. Because what they are doing is they're managing the portfolio of someone for stock trading purposes. That means you are helping someone else increase their funds for retirement. That is a service. That is a contribution because you're helping other people. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I wouldn't say sometimes, I say always necessary. The only social responsibility of a company is to profit to its shareholders. Yes. The rich are too highly taxed. Everyone is too highly taxed, but that includes the rich. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. Strongly agree. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Should the government do it? No, the market should do it. The government is the most misleading of all. Look at Joe Biden every single time he puts out an economics report. A genuine free market requires restriction on the ability to predator multinationals to create monopolies. The government mostly creates monopolies due to regulation. Strongly disagree. Abortion, when the life of the woman is not threatened, should always be illegal. Correct. All authority should be questioned. I agree. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This is a biblical thing, by the way. This is if someone harms you. So if, so for an example, a murderer should receive the death penalty. I agree with that. That is what the legal theory behind it is. I agree with that. Not strongly. There are some instances in which defense is necessary. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theater or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Well, I agree with that. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I agree. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that some people should keep to their own kind. What kind are we talking about? Are we talking about cliques in, let's say, high school, where the jocks hang out with the jocks and the nerds with the nerds? Are we talking that kind of thing, or are we talking about racial segregation? Because there's two different things. So, if it's the people doing it themselves, I'm okay with it. If it's the government forcing them to stay apart, there's a different situation. So for now, I'm just going to say agree. I don't know what they're trying to go for. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Yes. Not strongly, but yes, a parent sometimes has to discipline their child. It is natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. That's the funny part, because I'm physically incapable of lying. I get a reaction in my stomach if I do. That's a real big problem, actually. It gets me into more trouble than it fixes. That's a real fun story, by the way. Maybe I'll talk about it later. If someone wants to ask that. So, is it normal? Natural? Yeah, I think so. I'm the exception to the rule here. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I agree with that. I don't think drugs should be legal in the first place, but if it's for personal use, whatever, right? It should. Criminal offense, I think it should not be a crime, but it shouldn't be legal either. So, basically saying like slap on the wrist charge, maybe. Shouldn't be a criminal offense. So, criminal offense, we're talking jail time here. So, it's saying, yeah, that's not necessary. That's a little too much of a punishment. Prime function of schooling is to equip the future generation to find jobs. Well, yeah. Especially trade school. It shouldn't be to indoctrinate people by. Well, the opposite of utility-based schooling, it is indoctrination or ideological-based. And that definitely shouldn't be the case. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. No. Fuck off with your eugenics. The most important thing for children is to learn to accept discipline. Well, that's definitely important. Is it the most important thing? Well, if you want to be happy in society, you have to fit in. And discipline is a part of it. So yes. There are no savage civilized people. There are only different cultures. There are definitely savages. Definitely. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Strongly agree. When you're troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with other more cheerful things. Depends on what issue. If it's a medical thing, you should definitely focus on it. I can vouch for that. If it's more of a, I don't like to go to school and that kind of thing, yeah, maybe you should try a little more cheerful. So, overall, in the balance, distraction might definitely be a good thing. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated. Well, I agree with it because you're always going to have your own country at heart. You're always going to be flying in your own country first. So definitely agree with that. Strongly, actually. What's good for the successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. No. Because what's good for a corporation is their stock value. And their stock value isn't necessarily good for all of us. When the GDP goes up, it isn't necessarily good for all of us. That's a little bit of a problem we have in today's society. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Strongly agree. There shouldn't be any public broadcasting in the first place. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Correct. Can't really have to say anything about that. It's just objectively true. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all arguments to delay progress. Democratic political system. A one-party state isn't democracy, you fucking idiots. So, it is an advantage, yes, definitely. Is it a good system? No. But this is more of a question of, is an individual capable of having nuanced thought patterns? So yes, it is an advantage, but it's not a good thing. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Well, I think I strongly have to disagree on that one. Because just because you're a parent going to a teacher meeting at school doesn't mean you should be surveilled by the FBI. Or if in the case that you're a Catholic, that you should be surveilled by the FBI. That's not necessary. Death penalty should be an option for the most serious of crimes. Yes. Death penalty should definitely be applied for murderers, traitors, and child molesters. Definitely. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and below to be commanded. So, a civilized society must have an hierarchy. That's essentially what the question is here. Yeah, I strongly agree. Basically, human nature and nature itself requires a hierarchy. So, abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Yeah. If it doesn't mean anything, then what the fuck are we even doing? If you paint a square on a canvas, it doesn't represent a thing. I saw this video of a guy that had like 8 buckets stacked on top of each other, and he pokes a hole in the bottom one, and then because of the physical forces, so that's fluid dynamics, the paint flows out of the bottom one through the hole, and because that happens, is one side of the bucket starts to dip a little, and then the entire stack flows down or it crashes down. And then the paint spreads all across the floor, and he says, well, this is my art piece. What the fuck does that even mean? What are you doing? I consider that just vandalism. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Yes, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation, because how else is the person going to know that what he committed was wrong? Here's the thing though. That isn't actually the first priority of criminal justice. The first priority is neutralization, which means you take the person out of the environment to make sure that he cannot reoffend or harm more people before the trial is completed. So that's what pre-arrest is for. That is the most important thing. Then it becomes punishment, then it becomes rehabilitation. So yes. Number 2 on the list is more important than number 3 on the list. It is a waste of time trying to rehabilitate some criminals. Jesus, maybe I should just enlarge the page a little. Nah, too stubborn. Yes, some people are what is called criminally insane, which means that they're incapable of figuring out what is wrong and what is right in society, and thus they will continue to reoffend the same thing. You don't rehabilitate them, you just keep them incarcerated. Because they're going to reoffend every single time anyway. So why are you continuing with that? A business person and a manufacturer are more important than a writer and an artist. Well, yes and no. When it comes to consumer goods, they are important because that is what people spend their money on. Making food, making beds, chairs, tables, electronic devices. That's important. But people also need to be a little more... They need to have something that would satisfy the soul, so to speak. And that is where art comes in. So they are both important. Are they more important? No, I think they're equally important. Mothers may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. Would it be surprising to you if I said that if you knew that I was a monarchist, that you would also know that I would be against feminism? I'm also against universal suffrage, which is voting rights. I'm also opposed to a 2-household working, so a dual income family. I'm opposed to that. Here's the thing though. It is scientifically proven that a family with two parents that work 40 hours every week, their children have the same psychological damage as if you were to abandon the child in the first place. And that psychological damage is causing problems in society. They need to have at least one parent at home. Agreed. Strongly. Almost all politicians promise growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate change that growth is detrimental. Fuck off. Sorry, but environmentalism is just the same as communism to me. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Yes or no? If the establishment is outright evil, you don't make peace with it, you fight it. Disagree. For an example, slavery was an establishment. Being mature wouldn't be to say that, oh yeah, I'm just going to accept the way it is because it is the way it is. No, you're just going to simply say, it's evil, get rid of it. 5th page. Oh, we're almost there. Like 20 minutes in. Okay. Astrology accurately explains many things. Here's the fun part. Astronomy is basically optics but in space. Astrology is the... What is that? The reading of the signs? No, that's stupid. Man is science. I mean, it can explain some things, I suppose. Mainly how women behave. You cannot be moral without being religious. Yes, because morality is based upon religious value. Duh. Charity is better than Social Security. Yep. Some people are naturally unlucky. Yes. Case in point, myself. It is important that my child's school instills religious value. Yep. Sex outside of marriage is immoral. Yes, I already spoke about it. Same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from child adoption. Strongly disagree. Because those same-sex couples are the ones abusing kids a lot. Disproportionately. I mean, I believe if you went per capita, it would be public school teachers, same-sex couples, and then priests when it comes to child molestation. And somewhere in that list you mix in politicians. Pornography depicting adults should be legal for the adult population. No. Why is that? Well, simple. Because the individuals depicted, half of them start underage, and a third of them start as effectively indentured servitude or enslaved. And those are numbers from the FBI and the DOJ. They both did it separately, did the investigation separately, and they collected at the same results, slight margin of error above it, so I think it was about a 2% margin of error. So, no, I don't believe that this kind of exploitation should be legal in the first place. And I believe that anyone that is producing it should be arrested. What goes on in the privacy of the bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Yeah, don't ask, don't tell, basically. Here's the thing, though. What if... I'm going to agree with this, but I'm not going to agree with it strongly. What if a part of it includes a minor? Would you then be okay with it? Shouldn't then the state be concerned about anything? There's a little bit of a problem there for you, isn't it? No one can feel naturally homosexual. Well, a part of it is a chemical imbalance in the brain that is causing this. For an example, if you give testosterone to a gay man, he suddenly becomes straight, or at least bisexual. You see a lot of green text about that. That's pretty funny, actually. So, yes, the lower your testosterone, the higher likelihood for a male to be homosexual. That is a chemical imbalance. Now, here's the problem. Some people are born genetically with a disposition to have a genetically lower chemical balance regarding that. So, can they naturally feel that? Yes, they can. But it can be helped. So I would disagree, not strongly disagree. Today's openness has gone too far. Yep. You don't, under any circumstance, allow a bunch of people to parade naked in front of children. You don't do that. So, bunch of stories. Probably, I suspect, because of the way the argument is framed here, that I'm gonna end up about here-ish. So top, then very right wing. Okay, about right, basically on the border, on the border of the quadrant, sub-quadrant that I expected. So yeah, I guess it's about right. Here's the thing though, if you split it off between economics and social, which isn't really done here properly, because I prefer the Nolan chart in that particular opinion. Maybe I can find a test for that later. Nolan chart is the libertarian variant of this, which basically says liberty. So you have a square that you tilt 45 degrees. So basically this point would be 0 economic liberty and 0 social liberty. And here you would have 100% and 100%. So it would be tilted 45 degrees towards the right. So I have my hand at the screen, but of course your camera can't visit it. So let's see. I have a square. Neat, right? So this is no liberty in either the social or the economics. And that is 100%. So what you do is you tilt it like that. So this is 100 and 100, and this is 2 times 0. This will be social liberty, economic liberty. That's the Nolan chart. Let's see if I can find a test for that. Because if I were to do that, I would be on the border between conservative and libertarian. I know that of myself. So that would be, yeah. That's essentially what we have here. No, thank you. I don't think your test was good enough to provide for a donation. Alright, that's it for today. My liberty is, regarding time, is almost at an end for the day. I don't really have much time for the rest, and I'm also getting really tired for some reason. So I'm not going to be making anything more today. Boredom's still here though. And it's going to be here for quite some time. Thank you kindly for watching. See you another time, I suppose. Cheers.